Who's who?
Okay. Uh, my father's sister was Ann Fenton. That was Arlie's mother. Arlie Fenton is my cousin, and his wife Mary Fenton, or his surviving wife, is Mary Fenton. She's my cousin by marriage. Dorothy Ann McEwen is my sister, who's about 4 years older than me, and her ex-husband Bobby Coons Jr. is the one that destroyed the phone service up there that I had to have repaired. Benny and Glenda saw him do it, and with no explanation or whatever, he just come up and ripped the box off the side of the wall, threw it in the back of his truck, and drove out. I had to call AT&T and get a technician to come out and service technician come out and replace my California Lifeline hardwired phone service back into service up there.
And when did that happen?
Pardon me?
When did that happen?
Oh, about 3, 4 months ago.
Okay, so that's recent. And then one was the industrial commercial power ripped out. They took out the just.
That happened about 6 to 8 months ago.
Okay, all right. Let's make it quick. And then so you set up the family, and there's been some family problems over the years, but about in the last year, it's changed, and it's presume, or you're trying to. It may not be presumed, but you're trying to say that there could be, or that there is undue influence. To
Yes.
explain that.
Well, the undue influence apparently started with text messages coming from my sister to Joe. I would hear her phone go doo doo like that or whatever, and at the time I didn't know what the hell it was. And Joe would say, "Oh well, I need to have you pick up my medicine at the pharmacy." And so I'd go down and do that. I guess while I was gone, she would call her back or converse or text her or whatever. Again, I didn't know about all this, but then one night, just out of the blue, Mary says to me, "Johnny, you can't tell me what to do. This isn't your home. You don't own anything in there." And I thought, shit, there's a lot of things that I bought that's in here, but I didn't say anything to her. At the time, then I asked her. I said, "Joe, what would ever possess you to even talk to me like that?" And she had no answer for me. And I knew exactly where it came from. It was my sister Dorothy,
Oh,
and her texting Joe, and Joe would make it to where I was out picking up breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And during that period of time while I was gone, she'd get her conversing done with Dorothy or texting, whatever they were doing. And this was all done behind my back, unbeknownst to me. Of course, and then when I broke my foot, did the coup de grace at Joe's house there, going out the door, she goes, "Well, now that you broke your foot and you're not able to walk on it anymore, you're no good to me. I don't want you coming back here." And I go, "What the hell is her house?" I just said, "Okay." And that was the last time, other than saying hi to Joe one time. I was bringing her $200 a month to handle incidentals, and Dorothy, I guess, instructed her to turn my mail back and quit using my money to pay my incidental bills that Joe was gladly doing for me. And so it's been Dorothy's influence on Joe that's created this nightmare. And other than that, everything's been going fine for 27 years. Never once an argument with Joe or Arlie, uh, independently or together about Ferndale. I took care of the place, maintained the place, and did keep my word with everything I promised him and her. And
go to the beginning real quick, just when it started. Tell the story really quick about Arlie saying you could have the place, or explain how that goes, and then he passed away, and I guess everything was cool. But just go ahead and tell that.
Well, okay. Initially, Arlie had called me a time or two and said, "Johnny, there's been no no presence on property there at Ferndale, and that
This is in about 1990. This is back in the 96.
Yeah, this was in the '95 era. That he wanted me to come up there, and he said, Johnny, if you do come, when you come up, and if you do come up and decide to come up, he said that you'll have. He says Ferndale will be your home for the rest of your life. You'll always have a home here at Ferndale and a roof over your head. You provide the caretake the place and provide security for it. And he said, you'll always have a roof over your head. This will be your home.
Okay, and then we got to keep it fast forward here. So then he passed away, and I guess he didn't will it to you, or I don't know if it was in a trust, but there was no issue. It's just business as usual, right?
No, I just carried on my promise that I made to them.
Yeah.
Because
well, you didn't make a claim either, so everything was business as usual. The status quo.
Yes.
Until now, about within the last year, and then let's get to Benny real quick. Explain. Benny works for you. Or he's got a contract with you, not her, right? Explain that.
Well, but okay. So while Arlie was still alive, I was going through surgeries on and off, in and out, so I wasn't. My presence wasn't able to be there. So I talked with Arlie and Joe about it, and I told him, I said that I had a friend who was ex-Army Ranger, and Benny and Glenda got to meet Arlie up there gambling, and Arlie said, yeah, that'll be fine when I'm gone, for them to maintain the place in my absence, which Benny's kept his word with me on that. And it was all okayed with Arlie, the owner of the property, and Joe knew about it too. There's been numerous occasions that Benny and Glenda has brought down the mail from P.O. Box 183 clear down to 2729 Dale Avenue, which is Joe's house in Ceres, California. Brought mail down and done different things for Joe besides maintaining the property up there for me to keep my agreement with them in earnest over the years. And there's been no problems with any of that. Never an argument or anything.
Okay, let me ask you this. So when did Arlie die? What year roughly?
I believe it was 2017, I believe.
Okay, and so 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Has it been that long that Betty's been there? It's like almost 8, 9 years?
Well, maybe it was later. I don't know how to find out.
But he was alive. I mean, that's just like just make the link there. I mean, he knew about it, okay, so.
Well, he knew about Benny. Well, Arlie, I was taking Arlie up providing hospice care for Arlie while Joe was at work on a daily basis, running back and forth from Ferndale to Ceres to pick Arlie up and whatever he wanted to do. It was important to Arlie that he was there when Joe went to work, and it was important for Arlie to be back at his house by 4:30 in the afternoon, so when Joe got home by 5, he was there. What
I'm trying to do is just let me just do this. I just want to establish that Benny's been there for some time, for over 5 years.
Yes, Benny's been there for over 5 years, and never was there a problem with it. Sometimes I'd go up and pick up the mail if I was able to. Other times Benny and Glenda bring the mail down, but they have been maintaining the caretaking the property and stuff in my absence, as they are right now.
Okay, yeah, that's great. I think that's it, because I want to keep this down to 10 minutes right now. So let me stop it. All right, so I'm recording you right now, and I want to start at the top and just go through these. We just fixed them on 11/21, and we're getting this ready. We had to make some corrections, and I'm doing a motion to tie all this together, and it's working out really good. And we got John on the phone, and I just want you to go through what we just did. We just went through the whole thing and added and corrected your age and we got some stuff in here. But you read every single one, and you were okay with what it said, right?
Yes, yes, I'm in agreement with everything that you typed on that today, the 21st of November 2024. I, John Hinchman, approve of everything that Ty Robin has assembled for me to be presented to the Tuolumne County Superior Courts and/or the judges there present. And if they're not duly registered or bonded to be a judge, then they need to. Then I want bipartisan, independent jury. I want a jury trial.
Well, no. This is going to wrap it up. You don't really want to have a trial. You want this over because
No.
the facts.
I want it over today if we can get it done.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do because the facts are on her complaint. Like just all the crazy stuff that went on that would have this case overturned anyhow. But on the merits of the case, which is what everybody the court wants to look at, right? The judge, never mind everything else that would overturn this thing. When it comes down to her complaint that she filed, the most recent one that's the operative complaint, her relief. Well, that she said you were basically a renter, a month to month renter, you and Benny. Okay, but you're the principal, you're the primary guy, and then at the very end, her claim for relief, she did not check the box to change the agreement, right? So because it's month to month, they would it's set up to just kick you out like you're a renter, but you've established that you've been there and that there was an agreement and a life estate, which I'm going to argue, and the law would back me up on this, right? That you, based on the time that you're like grandfathered in, basically, for equitable. Really, it wasn't willed to you. It's not in writing, but you've certainly been there all this time. So you should be based on the whole situation that happened, the way she's come about this with dirty hands, bad faith, and perjury, basically perjury, call it what it is, and the lawyer too being involved in this, and everything that went on with this whole situation being. I mean, this is pretty bad. This is the worst I've ever seen it.
Yes,
And they did not file. They did not file the demur that was file stamped. And this is the kind of shit that they've been doing to me and a whole lot of other people. And this case just showcases it. I just kind of found out I had to go through real slow, look at everything because I had been in a rush. I've been busy with my other stuff, and every time I've had a chance, your case came up, and that's why my head's spelling mistakes, and I'm embarrassed about that. But we got to the bottom of it, and we got to the bottom of it right now. And I'm gonna upload all this. It's 12:30. They're open till 5, but I want to get this in before that, so that the clerks get it and we get it file stamped and we can get a docket report. So I got to get going, brother.
Okay, and isn't it her attorney's duty, being an officer of the court, to seek out the truth and let it be known?
Yeah, that's why they have code of judicial conduct, and for lawyers, it's a professional responsibility. And there's all the codes, and what we have here is what's called a miscarriage of justice, but it's beyond that. It's called fraud upon the court. I would say there's a lot of fraud here, and it's played out right here on the record in front of everybody. And what they did, it's throwing me out of the courtroom, and I'm allowed to help you defend yourself. I got the case law. Maybe the judge didn't know about that. She knows about it then. I should get an apology for that. But I have a right. And not only that, let me put it this way, John. Basically, I mean, I would have a right to stay at that property. I'm not going to claim that I've been living there all this time.
Yes, you do.
And if they do want to continue this, I'd be able to file they got a form that I'm not going to fill out because I haven't been living there full time, but I've been welcome there basically. And I'm not Benny.
But you've got the right to come and visit or stay overnight or stay a week if you want to or whatever this shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, mainly for Benny. I know Benny from over the years, my cousin, and his story. He's got an interesting story. And
Any friend of Benny's is a friend of mine because we're quality people and good, honest, quality people seek one another out.
Well, we just want to clean it up, get rid of the garage sale thing, and just make it look a little tidier there. I would agree with
We're
that.
not going to say, don't say anything about the garage sale thing. If they bring it up, then we'll stick that one up their ass, because there's been many times that place before for years was selling rocks and stuff, specimens out of a glass case in there when it was a gas station and bar and restaurant.
Well, that's the only thing I think that they kind of brought up, but it's not the main reason. They didn't say it was. In fact, when they had the little thing
Yeah.
and they wrote stuff down, like they said basically the garage sale, but they didn't go like with the urination and like lower levels, kind of mid range. So
Well, listen, there is two toilets there, and Benny and Glenda could clean them up. There's a man and there's a woman's toilet, and I could hook up water to that son of a bitch probably.
yeah, we'll get it cleaned up, man. We'll get it cleaned up. It's gonna look great, especially after we're probably gonna get this settled and get everything settled behind us and move forward in a positive way.
Listen, there's water there, and they can pee in those toilets. They got to clean them out. They can pee in those toilets and bucket flush them. They can pour water.
We'll get it all fixed up. Jimmy. That's what Jimmy does. He's a contractor and he can do this stuff. We'll get him over there, tidy it up, paint it, make it look good. So so the people, whoever might have a problem with it, that way it looks up to par.
What I'm saying is that outside of the main building, there's a building that's just a man's and a woman's toilets. They need to be cleaned out, leaves and shit like that.
Yeah.
But the toilets do work. You pour toilet water in the bowl, and you pour water in the tank, and when you flush it, the fucking toilet will flush. And there's a faucet right there that you'll have to bucket fill the toilet, bucket fill the tank, and you can sit on a some bitch and take a shit and flush it right down into the septic tank. I crawled underneath that building. It took me almost 8 months to dig out the dirt underneath the building to get to the lid on the septic tank. And I put a rubber gasket on it so the lid could be opened again. I put a chain across the top of the septic tank. But the reason I did that is because I was suspect that roots had grown into it and that it was full, but it wasn't. That tank was empty, cleared out. There was maybe 3 or 4 inches of sedimentary shit in the bottom of that septic tank. Those two toilets are connected directly to that septic tank and have been for 70 years or more. And all it needs is water in the tank, water in the toilet, and they can use the toilets there. I just talking to you right now, it just dawned on me that's all Benny and Glenda have to do, and they ain't got to go nowhere to take a shit. They can bucket flush it down the toilet.
Okay.
All right, and I'll call him and tell him that.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah, I'll get this to you later.
Thanks, bro.